Hello there, right here we got some more information about the mobs that we can vote on. So there is 3 new mobs that Minecraft have shown to us that could be added into 1.17. Even though there is 3 of them, we only can choose 1 of them. And they'll be voted for on October 3rd during Minecraft Live. Minecraft just released 3 videos about each of the individual mobs, going into a little bit more detail. We're going to be taking a look at these videos and looking for any clues at what these mobs offer to the game of Minecraft. And I'll be using my past 11 years of Minecraft knowledge to get insight on how this will affect the game. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed, hit that button as well as the bell button. You don't miss out on the in-depth snapshot review videos I will be doing about all the 1.17 updates. Let's get right into it. If you guys haven't seen my previous video where I went over the article about these mobs, I'll link it down in the description. It has a lot of details as well as predictions. Make sure you guys have seen that one first. Now let's take a look at the first mob, which is the Moo Bloom. In this short video here, they talk about how the bees and the Moo Blooms are friends, similar to seeing mobs breeding, but it's most likely just a visual to indicate that they are friendly towards each other. They go on to say that the cows live in the flower forest biome. We can definitely see that indicated in the background here. Agnes continues to describe the cows as yellow as sunshine and covered in beautiful flowers. And the rest of the video is just them reminding players that if they want this mob, they will vote on it. Let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. Now, you guys had a lot of guesses on how the bees and the Moo Blooms would work together as friends. Some of you guys thought that Moo Blooms could have their flowers sheared off of them, similar to the Mushroom Cow, and actually collected as items. But unlike the Mushroom Cow, you guys thought that the bee would come in and kind of regrow the flowers on the Moo Bloom. And that was how the bee and the Moo Bloom work together as friends. That way you could have kind of like an infinite flower source by sharing the Moo Bloom. It's also very possible that the Moo Bloom walks around and kind of produces flowers like it does in Minecraft Earth. And maybe it needs the bee to continue this process. It could potentially produce every single type of flower. And maybe these paths it makes out of flowers could be all varieties, or maybe it's just dependent on the biome that it walks in. There also seems to be some inconsistencies about the flower that are on top of the Moo Bloom. On Minecraft Earth, there are buttercup flowers, where in this illustration, they are sunflowers. You can also see the words Moo Bloom here with these sunflowers on top of it. So maybe the Minecraft version will have sunflowers instead of buttercups, as sunflowers are already in the game. That would make sense, but there are also a 2-high flower where these kind of look like a short variation, like a shorter one. You might think this is just maybe an accident by the person that made this art here, but if you notice, every other flower in the background of this flower forest is correct. We got dandelions here. We got different variations of tulips. We also have the 2-block high flowers here. Poppies, daisies, lilies. Everything is correct except for this flower here that's on top of the Moo Bloom. But in a tweet by a developer when this video came alive, they called these buttercups on top. Maybe the developer was just a little bit confused because that's what they're called on Minecraft Earth. And I did see a guess that somebody thought that maybe if you milked one of these cows, it actually produces honey if the bee somehow interacts with the flowers on top of it. Like the Moo Bloom is a walking kind of honey farm or like a flower farm for the bees. Now it's also pointed out that the grass here is a little bit lighter. I don't think that's related to anything. We also got a little bit of particles throughout the air. So maybe we'll see the same kind of like nether particles brought to the overworld. But I definitely think we can assume that this mob here has to definitely do something with like repetitive production of flowers or bees being able to constantly get pollen from them. Now when Agnes refers to the Moo Bloom, she just calls them covered in beautiful flowers. So it's very possible that they have multiple types of flowers. Maybe if you shear them off, that new variations grow on top of them. But there was also disappointment in the community that this is kind of just a retextured mushroom or cow. People were really looking for like kind of a new mob in shape as well as feature. So the video about Moo Bloom really didn't tell us anything new that we didn't already know. Now the next video they came out with was the Iceologer. Now like I said, I was pronouncing it wrong. I was pronouncing it Iceologer because that's what it looked like it said, but they pronounced it Iceologer. Let's go ahead and just listen to them say it.
Why do we have to record these videos on an actual mountain? They are animated.
The Iceologer is a new illager that lives on mountain tops.
So Iceologer makes it sound like he is very knowledgeable about ice, and he can be found at the top of mountains. It could be that he only spawns at such a wide level, so maybe only at like above level 200, because these mountains are not going to be like your normal extreme hills. They're going to be probably all the way close to world limit. I know a lot of people are afraid that these guys are going to be like the next Phantom mob that was voted for, but unlike Phantoms, these guys are not going to spawn anywhere except for mountains and maybe only the very tips of them. So I definitely don't think people should think of these as being the next Phantom. Then they talk about some features of the mob.
It's a hostile mob that attacks you with clouds of flying ice.
So he'll drop these clouds of ice onto players, which we talked about in the last video. Now, one thing that the ice olagers do in the Minecraft dungeon games is if you try to get close to them, they will run away from you. Kind of like what we see with the evokers or even the illusioners, where they kind of like to attack from a distance, and if the player gets too close, they will run away and then kind of attack from a distance again. Now, you guys did point out that since this guy is considered a illager, it's funny that they haven't introduced the illusioner yet, which is an illager that is in the game of Minecraft, but is not in survival yet. And some of the Mojang developers did say that they were going to add in the illusioner if they could find a nice way to introduce it. Maybe if this guy is introduced, also add in the illusioner somehow. Now, once again, this ice illager is kind of just a retextured version of a illager, as there is quite a few variations. They don't look exactly the same, but it does seem like, once again, this is just a retexture mob of something we already have in the game. But his features that he gives are pretty darn unique compared to anything else we've seen, depending on how they implement this into Minecraft. Now, some things you guys point out was like the different stones here in the video. I don't think there is new types of stones. I think this is like dirt here, and this is just stone and stones with snow on them. Also got the snowier snow, which is kind of thick. We do see some like frozen ponds and pools of water up here. And it is also nighttime, meaning that most likely these only spawn at night. Now, there was some concern that people were like build up here, they'd have to deal with these all the time, but I think it's going to be very similar to like dealing with any other hostile mob in your base. You have to kind of light it up. Now, after the ice illager tries to drop this ice cloud onto Agnes, she turns around and shoots it with a crossbow and kills it.
With clouds of flying ice.
So it's possible that you can't really get close to this guy because he keeps moving away from you. Maybe you have to use like a ranged weapon to kill it. And then they go on explaining how you can vote for this mob during the Minecraft live stream event. The next video, which they released just now, which is the glowing squid. Let's go ahead and listen to what they have to say about it.
Do you ever wish Minecraft's oceans were glowier?
Not me. I always wish for world peace.
Sure you do. Well, wish no more. Meet the glow squid.
So in this video here, we see Agnes and Jens with their scuba diving gear. We got snorkels as well as fins, and they are way down here at the very bottom of the ocean. And the glow squid would spawn down really, really low.
Wow. What was I meant to say again? Vote for Minecraft?
Can't talk. Must admire glow.
Agnes, Jens, tell the viewers about how they can vote for the new mob. If you want the glow squid in Minecraft, vote for it during the Minecraft live stream. But please don't. It's really distracting.
So they don't say too much about it, but they do make comments about how it glows and how they enjoy admiring it as well as they get distracted by it. One thing that they did mention in the article is that the glow squid glowing effect would be very similar to like the Enderman's glowing eyes. Now, if that is the case, it won't actually produce any block light onto the surrounding blocks like I first thought in the previous video. So if the glowing effect isn't really that glowing, it kind of loses its one only good feature. In the image that they showed in the last one, we thought that this glowing shininess from the goggles of Agnes possibly could be night vision. But now we can see the full clip, which is just a reflection of the squid glowing onto their scuba diving gear. We also have the submarine that comes into play. I don't think they're going to add in a submarine into Minecraft. So it's also very possible that the scuba diving gear or flippers won't be introduced, and they're just props for this video here. Now, some other things we can see is very bottom of the ocean here actually looks very typical of what we already see. We got the big coral here, which we see in the warm oceans. We also got the little bubble columns, which are part of these magma blocks. So maybe the squid will always try to avoid such a light level because it says it stays away from the surface and only lives at the very bottom. Or it could only spawn at like Y level 30 and below, so it only spawns in the very deep oceans or in those ravine crevices. But once again, the glow squid just seems like a retextured normal squid. Now, there is some squids that do kind of glow in real life, but it does feel kind of strange that it would feel kind of strange that there's another squid in the game Minecraft, especially since the last squid doesn't do that much to the game. It definitely looks like we're going to have to wait for the Minecraft live event to get more information about these mobs. In years past, these videos were usually full of new information. It actually seems like these videos have less information than the article, which came out ahead of these. But after watching these videos, it definitely is clear that we're just expecting too much out of this mob. This is just something that they want to kind of put into the game to give a little life to it, and they're not going to kind of base the whole new version around it. So I don't think we should make too many assumptions about if the glow squid is going to drop something that will give us a glowing dye or anything like that. I think we should kind of take them at face value. Because of that, I think the Iceologer has the most features to offer, not only in the short term, but also the long term, where Moobloom might just be like a flower farm, and the squid might just give us something cool to look at in the ocean. This guy kind of offers potentially new drops because he is very different than like the Moobloom, which is just kind of like a cow, or the squid, which is very close to squid. Villagers in themselves have a wide variety of drops, so this guy probably will as well. He also has kind of a cape in Minecraft Dungeons, so maybe he'll drop that, or maybe he'll drop ice, which would be another thing we could farm up by making an Iceologer farm. He also has a very interesting type of range attack, and he could bring life to a pretty desolate place, which is on top of a mountain. Now, in the past, when we voted for mobs, something like the Phantom, we expected to have a lot of different unique features because it looked very unique. And then the next update, they gave us a lot of common stuff like termites, frogs, vulture, ostrich, goat, and those type of things are more typical mobs that just get placed into the world, and we really don't expect them to offer a ton of different unique abilities. So maybe we should kind of think of these three choices as being the same, even though they look very different than in real life creatures. We shouldn't expect them to do a ton of things around them. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this down in the comments. And don't forget to share this video with others, as well as leave a like. And I have hundreds of videos about crazy tricks and glitches which you can do in Minecraft, so make sure to go ahead and subscribe. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.